Hey everyone, Sparrow here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we will be touring the second complete zoo in the biome series, Sandstone Eco Zoo, which is set in the Australian grasslands. They have a focus on sustainability and reusing materials, as well as obviously taking care of their animals. The parking lot that we're walking through was a late addition into the park, and I unfortunately did not record it, but we will take a look around in just a little bit. So here is the entrance. We have our logo in the center, and then we have our ticket booths, and then our entrance just past there with our exit off to the right. But first, let's take a quick look around this parking lot. We have our buses, so these do have guest spawners in them. We have a few little bus stops, using the wallpaper pieces for one of the first times ever because I keep forgetting that they exist. And then we have a few different lots. I struggled a little bit because Australia drives on the left side of the road rather than the right side of the road, and I live in a country where we don't do that. So I had to really wrap my head around how that works. We do have a small seating area here in case you're waiting for people. And then all of our cars just set into the parking lot. Well, let's head over to the entrance. This is a staff access only. We will tour some backstages today as well, since you do get the VIP tour. So let's actually talk about how long did this zoo take me. I started this zoo with the release of the Oceania pack, and I took a break because I couldn't do True North and Sandstone at the same time. And then since January, it's been pretty steady, once every 2 weeks. And here we are at the beginning of July, and it has been completed, even with all of the busyness and roadblocks along the way. First, we are going to grab our membership right here from our lovely vendors. I did make quite a few custom graphics for this zoo as well, so I will make sure to point those out as we walk around. And here we are. Welcome to Sandstone Eco Zoo. Let's head on in. So as soon as we walk in, we have our beautiful entrance plaza. We have Trinkets gift shop. That photo mural is one I made as well. The souvenir shops are still broken, as you can see by this vendor trying to get in. The doors just don't allow them to. We have our Quokka photo booth. We will visit the Quokkas towards the end of our tour because it'll just work out better that way. But here we have a photo booth so that people can still take pictures with the adorable smiling Quokka, but not have to interrupt the actual Quokkas as they go about their day-to-day. We do have a small ice cream stand right here. This one is off the workshop. And if you see anything in this zoo that you really like and would like to put into your own zoo, I will make sure to link the collection below. Here is the official SEZ map. It is quite bright, not sure why, because I did make everything quite a bit darker. But as you can see, we are at number 1, which is the entrance plaza, and then we will be heading over to the Little Penguins, which is number 5 on the map. We do have custom signage for each educational sign, which I just put on the conservation boards. And we do have quite a few chicks in here. Look at how cute they are. All of the little penguins are named after different shades of blue. So I think we have 9 of them in here, but for example, some of their names might be Marina or Periwinkle or Admiral. I think there's a navy. We have a Cobalt, Cyan, Aqua. Super cute. And then, of course, Lions signage, because no zoo is complete without Lions educational signage. These little guys are so cute. So we do get our underwater viewing as well as some land viewing, plus we have that beach area over there. And we also get some backstage views. This was the first indoor swimming pool that I ever built, and I think it turned out quite well. This was a heck of a build, really. Now, as we wander our way over to the koalas, We also have a little art display, including this amazing Biomes of Australia sign by Noah Boa. Go check him out. He makes some incredible work. And then we do have the koalas over there. But before we head over to the koalas, we need to visit our dingo junkyard. This is a massive habitat. I think it might be the biggest or perhaps second biggest, because the kangaroo and wallaby one is also massive. And we do have 4 dingoes in here. I believe the young ones just recently matured or are about to. And they are all named after various indigenous words for dingo. So we have Cal, Maliki, Miri, and Boo. I rarely see them play with this, but this animation is just absolutely incredible. What a cutie. Their shipping container den is in the back, so just reusing old shipping containers to create their den. And now we can head over to our koalas. In front of the koala enclosure, we do have another viewing area for the dingoes, as well as a playground. So quickly, let's just check this out. There are some photos of our pups when they were still quite little. And then you get A+ viewing into their pool, and then you can still see one of them playing with the tug of rope. Our playground, we will take a super quick tour of. So we have a little wall where you can move these leaves around to get them to the koala. We also have a climbing platform up there, so make sure to not leave children unattended. Thank you from management. A little picnic area, of course. So here is the climbing structure on the back of that, so you can pretend to be a koala. There's a balance beam right here. There is a seesaw right at the back. And we also have a swing set as well as a proper tire swing. I don't know why we don't have those at playgrounds anymore. I love them. And so then we have our slide. We have a few climbing platforms themed around eucalyptus trees. A few different ways to get up. We have a bridge, we have a net, we have this little kind of like leafy thing to climb up. And then we also have some bouncers of various Australian animals. So we have the dingo, the skink or blue-tongued lizard, and the kangaroo. All right, now let's go visit the koalas. So as we head over here, this is based on an enclosure in somewhere in Australia. I want to say Sydney Zoo. If you would like to know, go check out the koala video. And it is, again, themed around the idea of shipping containers, but also tried to make it a little bit more tropical and foliage heavy than a lot of the other enclosures we've seen so far, because we are kind of headed into the more tropical section of the zoo. So this one has the gate open because this is a breeding program for koalas. So these koalas have access to each other, and they do have a baby in here. His name is Koko. And these koalas over here are just becoming acclimated to each other. So they are separated. There's no gate open in between, but they will be part of the breeding program eventually. And as is standard with Planet Zoo, the koalas are obviously on the ground and not climbing in the trees. So now is a great time to go check out the backstage because we have easy access right here. So we'll pop on over. And this area services the koalas, which don't need backstage areas because they are small animals and they could easily be carried by keepers. They're also not particularly aggressive. Obviously, they're not carnivorous. They sleep for most of the day. They eat eucalyptus. So we have access to these back here, and then obviously a lot of clutter and junk. And then we head over to the second koala area. And this leads us out into that big staff area at the beginning. So we have some treatment facilities, we have some bins, and these are all just different staff facilities. So we have everything that we would need in a franchise zoo. This is obviously sandbox, but I still like having the realism of having everything around. This is the little penguin backstage. And then here we have the sort of main staff building. If we circle around to the front, actually. So somewhere over here is where the gate to the parking lot is. We have a bike rack for people who choose to come by bike. And then in here we do have some research centers and workshops, as well as an exhibit. It's off show, but this is where our eastern brown snakes came from. They were in here towards the beginning of the zoo, and it's nice that we can actually see them because normally you can't. And then here we just have a boardroom. Looks like there was a meeting about the allocation of land. Here we have the different sizes of enclosures for each animal. So let's just double check. Dingoes, yeah, so it looks like kangaroo and wallaby have just slightly a larger enclosure than the dingoes. See, we can see those two big yellow pieces on the chart are those two enclosures. Okay, let's head on back to the zoo. Okay, so we have seen most of this already. The koalas are on our left, the dingoes are on our right. I do like the little fairy lights here. I thought that was a cute addition. And let's check out the second backstage right over here. This is for the dingoes. Just super simple shipping containers, and then this is kind of like a delivery port should we need it. And they do each have their own den back here, which is very, very nice. Through here we just have, of course, a whole bunch of clutter, sustainable energy, so we use a lot of solar panels and wind turbines in this zoo. I don't think there's a single transformer because we are trying to be very, very eco-friendly. Through here, we get to the Daintree Discovery Center with the old water tower in the back. So the reason for the old water tower in the back is that this facility has a water filtration system, and the story is that it is brand new and they used to use that water tower all the way back there, and it was such a hassle. So as part of their choice to be eco-friendly, they decided to install a filtration room in the Daintree Discovery Center. We do have our massive strangler fig in the center here. This is our Cassowary outdoor run. And then as we head in here, we see the hydroponics room. Here we have some boards. What are hydroponics? How does it work? What can be grown? Is it difficult? And then some of the things that the zoo grows. So we have lettuce, kale, Swiss chard, and spinach. Generally, leafy greens will do better in hydroponic systems than other plants because they just won't have a high yield if they are being grown like this. So you can grow tomatoes and strawberries and stuff like that. They just won't produce as many as you would probably like. This is the Cassowary backstage. We do have two chicks. These guys are all named after characters from Jurassic Park, seeing as cassowaries are closely related to dinosaurs, and that is their off-show outdoor area. Oh, there we go. Ellie, Alan, Lex, and Tim. Back out in the hydroponics room, we can head on over to see our new water filtration system. This is another blueprint, so do make sure to go check it out. We can see some of the pipes exposed underneath so that people can learn more about how all of that works. And then through here, this little walkway leads to the backstage area for the crocodile. We have Sue the saltwater crocodile. And normally she likes to hang out right here. Any picture you've seen of Sue is probably taken right there. But it looks like she's not there right now. We do have a hidden crocodile in the undergrowth. Very, very tropical in here, and this one is based off of a reptile house in London. She must be in her backstage area. We do also have a little heat lamp for her. We have our giant burrowing cockroach just to fill up some space in here, and also because it's the only tropical exhibit animal, and the other ones we will see in the desert exhibits. So I kept this one separate. And just like that, we got lucky. There is the crocodile. Very, very pretty. But their hitboxes really suck. On to a change of scenery. We're going to use this side entrance into the Mimi Night House. There we go. Oh, we have some decals here. Made it look like stars. No food or drink, no flash photography, and also please be quiet because the animals in here are quite sensitive. Our first look, we have our wombat burrow. This is just to educate people about how wombats will burrow underground. And we have their indoor area. The wombats and the Tasmanian devils do have an outdoor area, as we can see the wombat right through that curtain over there. They do like to spend a lot of time outside, but they do spend quite a bit of time indoors as well, seeing as this is where their feeding area and water area is. All of the wombats have W names, so we have Widget, Womble, and Waddles, the baby. Over on this side, we have the Kiwi enclosure. These guys also have a little one, I believe. Yes. Oh, no, that's an adult. And their names you will be able to find in the description below, as you can find all of the animals listed. Here we have our grand central tree, and this has a fun feature because it is sitting on top of a place called the burrow. So guests can go down into a burrow to see some of the animals in their own burrows. We got lucky and saw both Tasmanian devils in their burrow. Oh. So sleepy. Looks like the Tasmanian devil is just waking up, so let's see if we can head over to the viewing window that shows us their burrow. You can just see it through here. Perhaps we'll be lucky to spot it running around its enclosure now that it's awake. Or perhaps not. That's just part of going to a zoo. They have a cave back there to hide in, lots of undergrowth to rustle through, things to keep them hidden so that they don't feel too stressed out about things. Here's one of the few bathrooms that I installed in this zoo because I always forget about those in sandbox mode. And here we have our platypus. We have their sandy beach. These guys are all named after different currents or water-related things. So, for example, one of them is Riptide. We also have a Billabong. We have a coral for coral reef, and so on. So you get a partial underwater view here, and then they also have access to a backstage pool. And finally, the last thing in the night house is the spectacled flying fox. This is normally a walkthrough enclosure, but I just chose to have staff access into it, and then visitors can just look. These guys are all named after different tropical fruits. So we have banana and papaya and lychee, acai, and so on. I have a lot of fun naming my animals, if you couldn't tell, which is one of the reasons why I play Sandbox, because it would be tragic if they just died all the time and I had to keep renaming them. Special thanks for this building does go to that Aussie bloke for giving me so much help with any questions I had about Australian animals, and Severin Rasmussen for basically naming half of the things in here and also giving me that idea for the burrow, which is the big central piece. So he is my marketing committee. And also sponsored by Gunter's Gaming Corner because they are so supportive and I don't know what I would do without them. This is the main entrance into the night house, but we are now gonna head outside. So here we have our outdoor section for our wombat. Hello, cutie. I never realized how adorable the wombats were until I built for them in this zoo. We do have some indigenous pools. These are also featured in the Tasmanian habitat indoors because I did want to add some indigenous aspects to it. Both of our Tasmanian devils are out here. We have a small seating area for guests right outside this little Aussie Eats shack where you can grab a drink and perhaps some food and also maybe get a view of the Tasmanian devils. No, come back. We were just over there. Oh, all right. We can still see you, kind of. And that's about it for how far guests can go. So this here covers a staff path, so they won't be able to go past there. And we are instead going to head over to some emus. This is a super simple enclosure. Their barn uses just some old pallets and corrugated metal sheets. But not every enclosure in a zoo has to be over the top and fully designed. I actually really love enclosures that are more simple and you can get a good view of the animal. Over here we have some more birds. These ones are building piece birds because we do not have flying birds in Planet Zoo. But we do have these Golden finches, the colorful ones, and zebra finches, the striped ones. Golden finches can have a red face, a black face, and more rarely a yellow-orange color as well. Over this way, we have the hooded parrot. This used to be the Kookaburra aviary, but they have been moved in with the tawny frogmouse next door. But we will take a peek at that after we head down there, which you can just see past this covered picnic area, to the desert exhibits. Here we are. So this sunken kind of cavern, not really a cavern, canyon, is the home of our desert exhibits. So we do have our common death adder somewhere in here. These guys are notoriously hard to spot. We have our eastern brown snake. There's actually one hiding right there. We have seen these guys in the staff building as well. And we have our eastern blue-tongued lizard or skink. And these guys usually like to hide as well, but sometimes you can spot them back there. And right here we have our first view into the tawny frogmouth and Kookaburra aviary. So we have a Kookaburra right there. I got to see some of these at my local zoo recently and they are so cute. And we have a tawny frogmouth right there. This is staff access to this lower portion. And as we make our way up the staircase, we will see the other viewing areas for that. But first we have our pit stop and our quokkas, one of which is just making their way outside. And one is sleeping on the feeding platform. Did you have too much food? Is it food coma time? We will also check out the viewing dome once we get to the entrance to that. But here is the other viewing area for the aviary. So you can see that it's quite massive. This area, the land is obviously a lot higher and then it gets lower as you go. It doesn't really matter that there's a steep incline because birds will fly. However, the staff do have access via the stairs down to the bottom portion, and then they have access to this top part through a little door right there. Here's a fun picture of the tawny frogmouth. You can probably tell why it's called the frogmouth. It's super, super cute. Finally, our last enclosure is for kangaroos and wallabies, and here we get to meet the mob. And all of these animals are named after my local hockey team because we were in the playoffs as I was building this. So let's head on in. You can obviously sanitize before you step in, and guests are asked to only enter this portion. The wallabies love hanging out here, but the animals also have an off-show area back there as well as their indoor area. Oh, they're all just hanging out here, aren't they? So cute. I don't normally build for these guys either, but oh, I love seeing them hop around. It's one of my favorite animations. It is so well done. Right here we have a shelter, an indigenous shelter. So a lot of Australian indigenous peoples would build shelters out of basically anything they could find, as most peoples would. And this one is built out of a stick interlocking frame with some bark pieces on top, and then also a little bit of grass for some more coverage, which is kind of a mishmash of the various different shelters that they would build. They have another little rest area over here. Aw. Scratch that itch. Just hanging out. And here we get our first look into the gift shop with that beautiful wallaby poster I managed to snag a photo of. So let's head out of our walkthrough. Make sure to just sanitize your hands on your way out. And we have one last picnic area, more shaded, kind of next to the fence. And then here is our exit actually into the main plaza, but we still have a few things to check out, including the gift shop. And we're just gonna walk around to the main entrance because we might as well. Trinkets. So a lot of this is made using reclaimed wood, especially the beams up top. We have some palette backgrounds, trying to make it seem quite repurposed. Obviously, I'm not using the souvenir shop items the way they were meant to be, but we do have some signs that you can buy, some t-shirts, mugs, beach balls, buy one, get one free. We have some other items like leis, and these Indian lamps make for really good pretend water bottles. We have Keyboard Keeper's amazing plushies. These are all Australian species that you might find. Pina coladas and getting caught in the rain for umbrellas. Some eco soap. We have a few different varieties. So you can pick up some Sandstone limited edition orange soap. And here we have our viewing window into the wallaby walkthrough. So you can still catch a glimpse as you're walking through here and maybe decide, hey, I actually do want to go see that walkthrough. Kids Corner, And then everybody's gone surfing, so any purchase of surfing gear goes towards Little Penguin Conservation. There's that wallaby poster I was mentioning. We do have a bunch of posters in here. The Kiwi. And our checkout. So buy your souvenirs. And we have one final thing to check out. The viewing dome. So the dome viewing area is right here. Here are some other posters that we didn't get a very good look at on the poster rack. Over emu, flying fox. The cassowary one is probably one of my favorites. Here is Sue the crocodile, taken in that spot that I mentioned earlier. And our actual climbing koala. And our Tasmanian devil screaming. So let's check out the dome. Here we are in the dome. We get a good view of their feeding area. There's the pit stop. There's the walkway down into the exhibits. And a quokka! How adorable. These guys are so happy and smiley that they are named Joy, Sunny, and Bliss. So that's it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this tour of Sandstone Eco Zoo. Please do let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And within a month or so, there will be a poll up on my community tab asking which zoo you would like to see next. So make sure you go vote for those ones. Make sure to hit that like button and maybe subscribe if you'd like to stay in touch with future projects. Make sure to hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever I post anything. And I will see you next time. Bye.